I was listening to the radio today, and it was on a phone-in show, and they were talking about climate protesters who had actually glued themselves to the motorway so that people couldn't drive to work, and there were huge tailbacks and people were going absolutely ballistic and really angry, and people were phoning in and really because they couldn't get to work and they were absolutely desperate. And it did strike me that some people would actually run these people over just so that they weren't going to be late for work. That's how enraged they were. Never mind the planet, they wanted to get, to work on time. And if it meant that, these people were in the way, I mean, they wouldn't say it, but they were just fuming with rage. And I'm not sure the climate protesters have thought it through properly, because they thought, well, if they glue themselves and the police can't take them, but they hadn't counted on people actually running them over to make sure that they weren't late for work. Anyway, that aside, I imagine that if I was stuck in the motorway, even though I've got an enlarged prostate and I'm prone to pissing everywhere, or at least needing to go, and I'm sure there were other people with enlarged prostates on the queue, because it was such a large queue, I would be angry. I would be furious, in fact, that I couldn't go to the toilet, and I'd be looking desperately for a bottle to use, and if necessary I would go on the motorway if I got no choice, and it would be massively inconvenient. But I'd like to think I'm big enough that if we've only got 6 years left on the planet, apparently, before it becomes irreversible, arguably, I don't mind pissing in a bottle. That's, I haven't been in that situation, so I don't know. And I haven't always got a bottle in the car. But that's what I think I would be like. So, and then the presenter was saying, well, what would you do differently to the enraged citizens who couldn't go to work? What should we do with these protesters who are blocking up the motorways near London? And some said, do more research. We need to know for sure that the planet's not going to die in 6 years' time, and all this. I mean, how much research do they need to do before the planet's underwater? At what point? And other people said, we'll write to our MP and we'll write to the government. But the main point is that the protesters said, well, we've tried all that and all we're left with is gluing ourselves to the motorway. So it was a fascinating debate, and I am broadly supportive of the protesters, even though I wouldn't glue myself to the motorway. I do recycle, and I in fact did some proper recycling. I didn't chuck anything in the bin, which isn't much, but at least it's a start, and small steps. But we've got to speed up now. That's the message. Cheers.